Well, hey there, World in a Jar enthusiast, and welcome to a new segment we like to call Build a Bard. Today, we're going to start our journey to build the best bard we can be. Without further ado, here's your host, Kyoko.
Thank you, Editor Chris, for that absolutely amazing intro. I love when you add stuff to our episodes, so arigato, thank you. Welcome, one and all, to World in a Jar. It's been a while since I've seen all of you, and I know last week Vale gave you all a solo episode, as I was gone at an anime convention actually, about their villain inspirations, which if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. Vale is absolutely great at creating villains, so 100% a good watch. I have a little bit of time this week before I actually leave for a singing competition, so I decided I would come to you guys with what I would like to introduce as a brand new solo World in a Jar segment. I would like to title this segment the Build a Bard Workshop. So in this segment, we will be working towards building a bard of every subclass. Through the bard subclasses, there are 8 total. There are Creation, Eloquence, Glamour, Lore, Spirits, Swords, Valor, and Whispers. Of course, there are Unearthed Arcana subclasses, and there are other homebrew subclasses, like one that I can think of off the top of my head is Matt Mercer's College of the Maestro, which is really cool. But essentially, we'll be going through the 8 actually recognized and canon bard subclasses and make a character for each of them. As our viewers of World in a Jar know, I am World in a Jar's resident bard. Bard is my favorite class, and if there is any class for me to pick that no one else wants, it is absolutely bard. I've noticed that with a lot of my friends, not a lot of them like playing support classes, and bard is definitely a support class. Also, please check off cat sighting on your World in a Jar bingo card. AX, you cannot mess with my Japanese textbooks. AX, all of my cats are named after D&D characters that I have either played or an NPC related to them. AX was not a bard. AX was a homebrew class that was like paladin base, which was really cool. But in total so far, I have played 4 bards. We have Mithra Sonaire, which is my pride and joy eloquence bard. By the end of the campaign, she was level 18, and she was 100% the party healer. Thanks to Magical Secrets, she had almost every single healing or resurrection spell available in D&D 5th edition. The only ones that she didn't have were Reincarnate and Greater Restoration. Those are the only 2 she didn't have. She was very headstrong and sometimes a very stubborn person. She would do absolutely anything for the people she loved, including her party members, which became her found family before she fixed the relations with her biological family. She went through so much. She went and saved the party whenever they called for help. She was the one absolutely making sure they stayed alive. She of course did this alongside the Forge Cleric, Lorik, on their team, but all in all, it was Mithra's job to make sure everyone was alive. And she would sacrifice herself before letting anything happen to any of her party members. If you'd like to know more about Mithra, I will probably talk about her more on other things. It's hard for me to not talk about Mithra. Second bard is Estelle Farron. She is my College of Glamour bard that I unfortunately have not really gotten to play yet. But she is feisty. She's basically a nepo baby, a nepotism baby. If you think like Regina George from Mean Girls, that's like the Mean Girls movie, not the play, not the musical. But essentially, she's the Regina George. She's snooty, she's preppy, she cares about her look, she cares about fashion, she's really rude. She's like very unintentionally rude. She has a lot of growth to do, but she's only level 4 right now, so we'll see where her adventure takes her. Then we have Safri Desmonday, my little country bumpkin College of Swords bard. Played her in a short campaign alongside editor Chris with Vale as our DM, and she a little fire under her butt, very confident and outspoken, and was the hero of her town, things like that, and she would do anything to protect those in her party that had a little more trouble protecting themselves. And then we have Kate Trell. I only got to play him for a couple of sessions, but he is another College of Eloquence bard, and he is the Prince of Trelia, which was the name of the kingdom he is from, and he was absolute idiot. He had absolutely no perception. He was like, this man would trip over his own 2 feet. He was a chatterbox. He just wanted to help people, but he's a little airheaded. He's really fun. I wish I could play him again, maybe one day. But that means I've only played 3 out of 5 bard colleges. Bard colleges. Sorry. Words. I got a long way to go. So, in this, we will be rolling for Bard College. We're not going to do the tried and true world in a jar thing of 2 words from a random word generator and then a TV trope. I just really want to have free reign with this, essentially. So we have my little tiny mini D8, and we're going to roll this and see what Bard College we get. That is a 3. That is College of Glamour, according to dnd5e.wiki.com. So, College of Glamour. This is a really fun one. So, according to D&D Beyond, the College of Glamour is the home of bards who mastered their craft in the vibrant realm of the Feywild, or under the tutelage of someone who dwelled there. These bards learn to use their magic to delight and captivate others. College of Glamour bards have some pretty fun subclass features that are mainly focused around sort of enchantment magic. So lots of charming people, lots of using their performance to really captivate and enthrall people to get what they want, to help their party members and things like that. And then at level 14, my favorite one, my favorite little tidbit, despite the fact that you can incapacitate somebody, is that you essentially get hotter, which is really cool. Your appearance permanently gains an otherworldly aspect that makes you look more lovely and fierce. So if you wanted your D&D character to look even hotter than they might have already started out as, College of Glamour Bard, you have to get to level 14 in Bard though, so have fun! Either way, when I think College of Glamour, of course I think Estelle, who is very conventionally attractive and things like that. She's an elf. She has beautiful pink hair, gorgeous green eyes, really beautiful fair skin, things like that. I just think of bards that really are not only very confident in themselves and have like very good self-esteem, at least on the surface, they're also very confident in what they do. So bards are of course based on using magic that is given to them through their art. Whatever that art may be, like singing, dancing, poetry, paintings, puppetry, theater, mimicry, things like that. Anything that you would think of that an art kid would do can be considered something that can give you magic through a bard college, or through being a bard in general. For me in particular, I'm a singer, I was a theater kid, I dance sometimes. If you get this mini episode to 50 views, I will post a video of me dancing to Fancy by the K-pop group Twice, so please, if you want to see that dance performance, 50 views on Build a Bard, episode 1. But yeah, College of Glamour bards, it could even be, like I said, bards that are really confident on the surface, but it's really just sort of like a mask to hide like an insecurity or multiple insecurities, hide feelings of inferiority, feelings of like not being enough. And of course that can come along with like reasons from the bard's background or some like party dynamics, things like that. It all really depends on how you want to spin this bard. For me, I think the path that I want to go down is a bard that is sort of like really full of themselves, essentially, and that's their like one of their bigger character flaws is that they haven't really like faced this wall to overcome yet. So their time as a bard and their time through their bard college and whatever adventure they've gone through so far, depending on what level you want to make this bard, is they've just been really excelling at whatever they do. They're like riding on their laurels and things like that. And it doesn't even have to be like a rich character. It could be even just like a character that is just really confident and has had essentially the world handed to them as they've gone through and shown their prowess. I always tend to lead towards vocalist bards, but also, of course, bards get an instrument with them. So let's say this bard plays the horn, and it could be the trumpet, the trombone, the French horn, bugle, something like that. I really like the French horn, so let's say this bard is a French hornist. So, this bard has been in like whatever orchestra or whatever philharmonic orchestra they audition for. They've been first chair their whole life. They've done solo after solo and things like that. Just very confident and really like stuck up about their abilities and things like that. It's like, oh, I've been granted this absolutely fantastic magic from being a bard and being so good at my instrument. I've played for archfays and like people like that, very powerful people, and they've really like granted me this magic almost without like of course being a warlock. And they, especially like through their solos, they've been known to like really enthrall and full on like captivate, move people in whatever way that they want with their performance and things like that. And that whether that be with them like imbuing the magic in it or not, they could just be one of the most fantastic French horn players of a generation. Things like that. And just, they would be the ones to really sort of be like the icon or the example for French horn players in their town or in their kingdom, wherever they're from. But of course, every character needs to have a breaking point. Every character needs to have challenges. Every character needs to have multiple walls to hit. You can't have a character that's just on a straight incline all the way to glory. You need to have incline, plateau, even sometimes a decline somewhere in there. And you know what they say about plateaus? The little corner right before the next incline is the hardest part to get through. So let's say this bard goes to another audition and things like that, and there's a rival French hornist there. Could be their childhood rival, could be someone who just recently started taking lessons with their teacher or their master or something, and is really giving this bard a run for their money. And this original bard, the bard that we're creating now, could, of course, like, use their magic to try to get this audition to, to swing their way. They could use spells like Charm Person or Command or Suggestion, things like that. And those spells always have a downfall. The person who you use that spell on knows you used it on them. So it could be seen as like sabotaging the audition or really trying to like force your way into getting what you want. Of course, if you use things like Enthralling Performance or Mantle of Majesty, things like that, of course, you can sort of get away with it, but even then, if you have like another bard around, or even if, like, let's say it's an audition, if like the panel of judges or like the orchestra conductor or something like that notices you're using this magic or has like a deep understanding of your College of Glamour magic, you're done. You're done. So it could be this bard's fall from grace, and their, like, reputation gets essentially wiped. Because the arts world, no matter what world it is a very interconnected world. People have connections. People know each other. People talk to each other. So it could be like through a network of bards that are leading these orchestras or leading these musical performances, they get word that this bard tried to get their way through unethical means, and that essentially ruins them. And then they could have to like work their way back up, repair their reputation, atone for their mistake, things like that. Maybe go on an adventure and try to make a new name for themselves. Work along with a party that like really needs the help of a master performer, really needs the help of a bard. Bards, like I said, are a support class. More likely than else, you will be supporting your teammates rather than being on the absolute front lines. And that is definitely true for College of Glamour. You are what I would consider a saboteur. Like a saboteur subclass. You're more focused on making sure the enemies are incapacitated, that the enemies can't do much to your party members. Not only can you give your party members 5 temporary hit points and they can use their reaction to move up to their speed, not provoking opportunity attacks from enemies, and like a number equal to your charisma mod. So you can get your teammates out of dodge and give them a little extra protection. Or you can charm a number of humanoids around you equal to your charisma mod, and really like get them to stop fighting, or get them to like do what you want, get them to really boast about you for up to an hour to help your party or help you get whatever you need, get into some place you need to get into, like if it's an infiltration mission, get you out of wherever you need to get out of, if you're escaping, things like that. And it's the same thing with Mantle of Majesty at 6th level. You can cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you take on this appearance of unearthly beauty for a minute or until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. And during that time, you can cast Command as a bonus action on each of your turns without a spell slot. And if the creature is charmed by you already, they automatically save they automatically fail their saving throw against Command. So like you can get people to do what you want. You can get like creatures and enemies to stop attacking your party members. You can tell them to like drop their weapons. You can tell them to like freeze. You can tell them to submit, to kneel, to grovel, things like that. You can get them to do the one word action that you tell them to do with Command. And then of course, at 14th level you get Unbreakable Majesty, where you turn hotter. And then you can, as a bonus action, assume a magically majestic presence for a minute. And then any creature that tries to attack you for the first time on a turn, so like let's say they have extra attack, only the first one will get stopped. Or only the first one will trigger the charisma saving throw. And if they fail, they can't attack you, and they have to choose another target for the attack, or the attack is wasted. And even if they save, they can attack you, but the creature has disadvantage on any saving throw it makes against your spells on your next turn. So like, let's say they like succeed on the save here, and they can still attack you. But then, your next turn, you cast something like Feeble Mind. Or you cast something like Aralathim's Psychic Lance at a high level. Even at 4th level, it's still really good. You, like, let's say you got a spell like Guiding Bolt, or Fireball, or some other, like, stupid strong spell from another class, or from another class's spell list with magical secrets. As long as this spell has a saving throw, as long as it's not a roll to hit spell, that creature that saved against your Unbreakable Majesty has disadvantage against it. So, they are most likely SOL. And you can assume this magical presence once you finish a short rest. So, let's say you take a short rest. Not only do you get your expended Bardic Inspiration back, but you also get Unbreakable Majesty back. So, real good. Real good. And I would say that this bard that we are creating, this French horn player, they go on this adventure, and I would say maybe they not only fix their attitude, but they also learn that really what they were doing was they were seeking validation of their skills from all of these like performances they were doing, and being like essentially what they felt was being shown up by this like newer player that was also being taught by their teacher or something, really sort of hit them in the ego, and they really didn't like that at the time. But with the help of their party members and with all the experience that they're learning from this adventure, they've learned that they don't need that outside validation. As long as they feel confident in their skills and things like that, they don't really need to worry about how other people view their skills. They know they're good. They know that they have this musical prowess. And they just have to rely on that to get them through any performances they have or get them through whatever they want to do. And of course, that's a typical lesson for every super talented artist. Especially if you were a talented artist, like let's say in your youth and then, or like in high school or something, and then you go into higher education or you go into the professional world, you go into doing something with your craft. And of course, there's always someone better than you out there. You just have to be confident in yourself and work on yourself and work on your own skills. Really hone your skills and see where it takes you. And that's the lesson that this bard may have to learn. That is where I am going to leave off this College of Glamour character. Maybe they travel into the Feywild even more to hone their craft. Who knows? You'll have to see where your adventure with this French horn player College of Glamour bard takes you. For the very first Build-A-Bard episode, this was just a little short, a little sneak peek at what could be coming up, especially since I don't have a lot of experience with College of Glamour yet, but once I do, you all will hear about the tales and adventures of Estelle Farron. And in the meantime, keep an eye out for some other World in a Jar episodes, either from Vale and or extenuating guests in the coming week, or from me and Vale together, or Vale, me, and editor Chris. Anything. World in a Jar content will be coming back to you in full force in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. I think this is a great place to seal up this jar and put it on the market. If you liked this episode and want to watch more, you can follow us on Twitter at WorldsInJars, or you can email us at worldinajar1@gmail.com. We are open and very welcome and accepting of any suggestions you might have for an episode subject or just something you want us to cover. And if you need any help building a character, a world, an NPC, something like that, shoot us a message or an email or even a YouTube comment. And we will reach out to you as soon as we can with any help we can provide. Alright? Do something good for yourself, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye! This episode was edited by Chris Rogers at ChrisRogersVO on Twitter. Go check him out. He does some excellent voice acting work. And he's also one of the world's greatest DMs. Love you, Editor Chris. Bye!